Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and I've been pushing this topic off for a while. We haven't talked exclusively about Wild in quite some time, but as you can tell by the title, I think something drastic needs to happen for the format if there, well, wants to be any type of a format. Before we get into the topic, I just want to thank you guys. We're closing in on 40,000 subscribers. We're on that 40K push by the end of the year. If you haven't hit that sub button yet, I'd really appreciate it. Lots of stuff planned for that. And well, with the new expansion coming out pretty soon, we're probably gonna have some giveaways. So incentivize the sub. You'll need to be sub for those. Anyways, today's topic, we're talking about Wild. I mean, if you want to look at this on HS Replay, the Wild statistics right now. There's like three classes that are all just crushing at the moment. And you have Hunter, Warlock, and Warrior. And Hunter and Warrior in particular are the quest lines, where you have the Pirate quest line and the Braza Hunter quest line respectively for those. And then Warlock is just even Warlock, where there's regular even Warlock. You have Reno Warlock, Reno even Warlock, and the also have Dark Layer's been back. Memnarch tweeted this. He's a high legend player. He thinks it might be the best deck in the format. And I mean, the Pain Warlock archetype has been the best forever and ever, and it's like the disparity between the best stuff in Wild to the worst stuff is growing farther and farther and farther with every expansion. The power level of the cards keeps going up. We saw it with the quest lines in particular. We've seen I mean, all you have to do is look at these two cards. You have the Demon Seed and Stealer of Souls. The power level has been pushed so far in Hearthstone, and the card pool is so wide in Wild that it can really encapsulate and take advantage of these things, that we've had these two cards banned from the format. And as time goes along, as the card pool gets bigger and bigger and bigger in Wild, and the fact that there's no active balancing around Wild, which they shouldn't be, that's not the point of, you know, making cards, is to make it for Standard, not for Wild. That Wild as a format has been a lot of fun for a lot of people, but at this point, it's just got to this point where it's too much. There's too much power level. There's too much of a wide spectrum of cards to take advantage of these things that it can't really actively be balanced. I don't want to call for like the quest line for Hunter or Warrior to be banned, because it'll just be something else. It'll be the Mage quest line. It'll be the next hero card made for the next expansion if there's hero cards, because they're always pushing the boundaries so much. And Wild, because it's not balanced around it, can never really be balanced. It's only going to get worse and worse. And either you make an insanely long ban list, or it's just going to be this unrecognizable, super optimal, crazy format that you can't really have fun in. They said, you know, originally the point of Wild, or at least one of the things, is a place you could play your decks of old, your cards of old, and you just can't anymore. And I feel like rather than just trying to overhaul the format, make a drastic change and nerf a bunch of stuff and ban other stuff, I think there needs to be a middle ground format. I think it's time that we have another format in between Standard and Wild. I think it would be super beneficial, where you can, you know, maintain what expansions are in it, maintain a long ban list of cards and stuff like that, and try and have a bit of a more curated experience, and just unnerf everything and just let Wild be completely Wild. Let it be a broken mess. Let everything be unnerfed. Like, just don't ban anything. And I believe Magic has something similar to this. They have like, you know, Standard there, and then they have like Modern, and then like Legacy. They have, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not super familiar, but I feel like we need that third format. And until that happens, I just don't know how Wild will be even remotely at balance point. Like, you looked at Forge of the Barons meta, that arguably is one of the better metas Wild has had. Even though Dark Lair was dominant, there was a lot of different stuff you can play, but I don't know how you go back in time and revert all that. These quest lines in particular are just so insane and Wild. All you have to do is look at questline Warrior. You have so many cheap pirates, and they made sure to get rid of these cheap pirates out of Standard before they introduced this quest, or else it'd be completely busted. But you have patches, you have South Sea Deckhand, Small Time Buccaneer, all these one drops, like Bloodsail Cultist, the 1 mana 1/2 destroys a charge, like all these cheap pirates. It's just incredible. You always complete your quest by like turns 4 or 5, right? You have Ankar, which you tutor with your quest. Like, these cards were all, you know, they're all aware they're in Wild, and they're not gonna you know, make this quest broken in standard. And that was by design, because that's how they design cards, which again is fine. And same goes with Hunter. You look at the Hunter quest line and you have like a twin spell for 1 mana that procs a third of the quest line. It's crazy. You have Beardo, which basically is the quest reward once your hero power is 0 already. Like, these are all things that if it was in standard that would never have made these cards. They just wouldn't happen. But because it's wild, and this is just going to continue. As they make more powerful cards that can take advantage of synergies, that problem will continue going forward. And I really hope that, I know Ixar's even talked about having like a rotating format, or like a more, you know, streamlined format that's a middle ground, but, you know, they're worried about people, how they won't be able to afford it because it's expensive to get into, to have all the different cards. But that's not really any different from Wild. For Wild, you still need to have a wide spectrum of cards, and now people are getting more de-incentivized to play it. And if Blizzard was more willing to balance things in Wild, maybe I'd have a different approach. Maybe I would ask for more nerfs, but all I have to do is show this card. Sorcerer's Apprentice, 2 mana 3/2 mage minion. Your spells cost 1 less. She has been busted in Wild forever, whether it's been Quest Mage, Exodia Mage, Flamewaker, Mizaki Mage. We now have Infinite Ignite Mage that goes off on turns 4 and 5. She has been busted forever, and all they have ever had to do was put the little line, your spells can't cost less than 1. That's all it would take, and she wouldn't be broken anymore. But they haven't even made that effort. In all the years of complaining, of all the years of that card being busted, that change has never happened. They've talked about it being on their radar multiple times, that it just doesn't hit it. But if Apprentice can't even get nerfed after I don't know how many years of being problematic, I don't see there being a hope for Blizzard to make Wild this curated, enjoyable format of experience. And I think a much more reasonable approach would be that kind of middle ground, that curated, you know, big band list or band expansion list or whatever, and it'll be a whole unique experience. It could make an exciting scene. Wild players could transition to that. They could stay to the old format where everything's busted. They could do both. It's not like you're deleting Wild. It stays there, but you can have this much more manageable, curated experience where, okay, we ban this card, we ban this card, we ban this card, and evolve it from there. Take an expansion out, put an expansion in, and make everything kind of interesting and more varied. And I think that'd be a lot of fun. The main drawback is, like I said, it would be expensive for people to keep up with it, but so is Wild, and hell, so is Standard. And the other drawback is it would cost money for Blizzard to put effort into this. And as we have seen time and time again with the team, or with Blizzard or whatever, that if there is not something to be made for money in the immediate short term, they're very unlikely to do it. Their financial strategy with Hearthstone in general has been extremely focused on short-term gains and not really worrying about the long term. We saw that with the way Mercenaries has been monetized. We've seen that with the way they've tried the Battle Pass to push that out with like really underhanded tactics. We've seen it time and time again, that if something needs to be fixed or updated that isn't monetarily advantageous in the short term, it'll either not get touched at all, look at Wild in particular, right? Or it will just be pushed back for a very long time. And if they can just kind of like double or triple dip at the same time, then maybe they'll adjust something like, you know, offering rates in Arena or something like that. So that's my take on how Wild could be salvaged or what you can do. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion, if you agree, disagree, what you think. I just think it's only going to get worse before it ever gets better in Wild. And without a major, gigantic overhaul to the format, it's just really not salvageable in the regards of playing your decks of old. However, a more curated, middle of the road format could possibly do that. Or hell, just update Classic, add Nax, add Ungoro, GVG, all these other expansions to Classic. You could do that as well. So let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.